Hello! We're back on the trail. The bird just flew over my head when I said that. So, I guess our timing is divine today, because that was an indicator that we're right on time, back in cold ass weather. And it's so cold. I'm making the best of it, you know? Hot drinks and cozy clothes and usually not being outdoors, but you know, you kind of got to get out and get your exercise. Flowing water. It looks more significant not on the camera, just so you know. Yeah, it's freezing cold, and no, I'm like, well, if I can have anything I want, then I want to manifest a lottery win so that I can buy a house in Malibu. That's what I want. New desire has been born. Come on, Gogol. And the funny thing about my desires is that this guy always chasing stuff. Funny thing about my desires is that they so far have all manifested except one, which is part of the one I'm working on right now. And it's cool because all the things I've ever wanted, they always eventually manifest, and what manifests is it's so beyond. It has the essence of what I wanted to the max. It's when I was younger, I always wanted to move to this one place and work there, and then I ended up manifesting moving there and not having to work there, but just being in this abundant lifestyle and free lifestyle. And it's when you, I'm trying to give you an example. It's like if you were wanted to manifest your dream job, and then you end up manifesting being the CEO of the company. It's like that. That's what happened, kind of. But that's just a metaphor, so. But that's what it always is. And if you take a look at your life, if you're someone who's been able to maintain a positive state of mind, and you've had generally pretty safe circumstances, physically safe circumstances, then, and you've also had the other important component, which is maintaining a positive expectation and a vibration of ease, and also a willingness to be sovereign and not to necessarily do what everyone else is doing and assume that you have to live in this box of this paradigm of how people exist. If all those boxes have been checked for you more than not in your life, or at least significantly more than most, then you probably have experienced this in your own life too, where you if you look back on your life and you take an honest look at the things that you have now and the things you wanted before, the things you wanted 15 years ago, and then where you're at right now, you can connect the dots as far as the essence of what you were wanting and what manifested as a result of the essence that you're wanting. And you might find that if your life is like mine in any way, you might find that what's manifested is actually 1,000 times better than what your human thought it wanted, than the specifics of what you thought you wanted before. I hope that makes sense, because it's super cool, because then it's when you get to the next chapter and you're like, have this even crazier dream that you want to manifest. Like a ridiculously expensive thing, or a ridiculous amount of money, or just the lifestyle of abundance and total like overflow as an example. Then you have to ask yourself, like, what's gonna be the result in the 3D of this desire? If that one turned out like this, then like, what's this one gonna turn out like? Is it gonna be 1,000 times as good as I thought? Just like all the other ones that I've worked out. And I'm like not saying that like I said, it's like, I know not everybody, I don't think everyone has experienced this kind of beautiful freaking proof of our worthiness in the way that I have, because I feel that I've been like really able to allow my dog's in the water. Yeah, bud. Burr. He's like, burr. That was cold. I just feel like I've generally been able to allow these things to manifest in this way, like in the way that I'm referring to, that I was just talking about. Like, I don't think most people like allow themselves to feel positive enough or free enough or worthy enough to be open to like how good it actually can be. And it's obvious because most people, like, it's apparent that like a lot of people are primarily more focused on the negative than the positive. And that's not necessarily like their fault. It's just it's just a product of the society that we live in, because we've been taught by people who don't know what's going on here or people who do know what's going on and like don't feel the desire to share the truth with us so that they can kind of be in control, you know? But I'm not gonna walk up this hill. Come on, bud. It's too muddy and slippery. Is that a metaphor for what I was talking about just now? That conversation was starting to go a little bit slippery uphill. Sorry, I'm kind of like goofy right now. I just like had a huge smoothie. I had like a chocolate banana like milkshake smoothie with my homemade walnut almond milk, and like I got really full from it, and now I'm just like bleh. I'm all like tired and loopy and full from chocolate overdose or something. I don't know what's happening. It seems like I'm drunk or something. I'm definitely not. I do not drink alcohol except very rarely. Very rarely. And even when I do it rarely now, I just like am like, ugh, God, I hate this. It makes me feel terrible. I assume that that's a good thing. I wonder if any of you have experienced like these types of manifestations in your life, where you just like look around one day and you realize that you're literally living the dream that you had times 1,000. The dream that some like and maybe it was even just some little like faint desire of yours, but the universe took it and like turned the volume all the way up and the amplitude all the way up and I don't know what I'm talking about, but and the wow factor all the way up and the worthiness factor all the way up as soon as you decided to accept that you're a powerful creator. I think this is what happened. You know, it was actually as soon as I started going through my spiritual awakening was when the manifestations and the desires that I had really started popping, like started manifesting. Really cool in the sky over here. There's like this cool colors. Oh, there we go. You see? Whoa, epic. That's epic. Sorry I can't hold my phone steady. My hands are cold. Wow, that's really cool. So now that I think about it, it was really like when I initially like decided to change my life for the better and like completely stop drinking alcohol and quit smoking cigarettes, and I quit all the things, and I even went on like a elimination diet because I had an autoimmune disorder, and I moved, luckily. So my college town was actually right near Sedona, Arizona, and so, which is like a spiritual vortex and like the heart chakra of the earth, or I don't know. I've heard Mount Shasta is, or maybe Maui is, but I don't know. It's like, is that just made up by us? I don't know. But maybe someone can tell me what chakra of the earth Sedona is. But either way, so it's very high frequency there. And when I was done with college, I continued to live in my college town and like kept just partying, and like just my health was not good, and my hair started falling out. It was crazy. Yeah, what happened is I got fired from my job. Morning after I got fired, I was like, I knew it was time for me to leave. Off, mogul. Good boy. I knew it was time for me to move out of that town, because I was just like, I need to get out of this environment. And I moved to Sedona, and I worked in Sedona. I lived right outside of Sedona, but like worked there. So I was in the energy every day, and I worked at this amazing coffee shop with like this incredible like view. I had this most epic view at my job every day. It was just incredible. I felt like I was living the dream life, just working a job at a coffee shop. Like I became the manager of the coffee shop, and like I was like really in my element there. As soon as like the fog cleared, the fog of substances and mostly alcohol, when I stopped doing all that stuff, especially like that combined with basically just eating the cleanest foods ever for like 6 to 8 months, it just cleared the fog, like I'm saying, like, and allowed my spiritual awakening to start. And like Sedona, I'm sure the energy there helped with that too. But as soon as I was able to wake up and just see more clearly and stop numbing, I felt amazing. And what am I trying to say here? I got really clear on like the fact that like we are manifesting our realities, and like I already knew this stuff based on my Facebook posts from like years before that even. I already knew about vibration and manifestation before all of this somehow. I don't even know how. It's weird. But I've always been into like metaphysical stuff like my whole life. But when I got sober, I guess you could say, I really like started focusing on it a lot, and just like focusing on like the fact that I'm living in a state of abundance, even though I'm working at a coffee shop. Like, and I just literally felt like I was living in a state of abundance. And then I was only embodying that frequency for a few months, and then all of a sudden my life completely changed. And it didn't happen by me struggling. It did not happen by me efforting. It did not happen by me like sacrificing my well-being. It happened because I went to a Fish show. It's a band. Fish is a band. I went to a 3-day concert. My whole life changed after that. I ended up moving. And like, that's when all of these desires that I had when I was like partying and stuff back in the day, you know, I was like, man, I wish I could do that, and I wish I could do this. And then like, as soon as I got in a state of like my own worthiness and like feeling in my element and not doing all the substances, like literally it happened so fast. And then all of a sudden my life just changed, and you know, here I am like almost 10 years later, and I'm like actually trying to manifest a house in Malibu, just because why not? And I believe that it's possible. And like, even if it's not a house in Malibu, because you know you could get a way nicer house somewhere else on the beach for way cheaper. Unless it's probably different now because of the fires and stuff. I know the properties are like really cheap right now on the beach in Malibu because you can't even build there at the moment. But that's a whole different topic. So that's like, you just trust that like whatever it's gonna be is gonna be good. As long as you are embodying your worthiness and you just know like you're living in the state of being in which you're expecting things to work out for you. I think the main component, the main factor that like allowed me to step into the knowing of my worthiness was like clearing that fog and like getting rid of all the substances and like taking ownership of my life and like living in a beautiful place too. Like that made me feel really worthy because I was like, whoa, Sedona is a crazy beautiful place. And like when you live there, or you live, it was actually perfect because I lived like right outside of there, because the energy in Sedona is really intense to live in. I've done that too later. I did that, and that was like really intense, high frequencies, like living there in the town of Sedona. But like over in the Verde Valley, it's a little more grounding feeling. God, this is so beautiful. So epic. It was the perfect balance of frequencies, like going home to this more grounding environment and then going to work in Sedona every day, but then like going back where it feels a little more grounded every day. It was like a perfect balance. So if anyone here is thinking about moving to Sedona, I recommend like staying in Sedona for like 2 months and seeing if you can handle the energy there, because it was intense for me. I'm sensitive, and I was living right next to like the Thunder Mountain vortex, and like everything, I felt like all the energy of the whole world was just like vacuumed into that one spot, and I was just like feeling everybody's energy in the collective. And I was hearing conversations in my head when I was trying to go to sleep at night. It was so crazy. I do not recommend necessarily living in Sedona, but that might have just been because the frequency I was in at that time, you know? So I can't say that I don't recommend it, but yeah, I think like when you start realizing that you are worthy and you just decide that you are, or you just feel worthy because you start focusing on things in your life that you appreciate, when you step into the feeling of worthiness, that's when you allow everything you've always desired to start manifesting in your actual life experience effortlessly. Hey, bud. Good boy. So I invite you to try to get in a state of feeling blessed. Like just by appreciating things in your life. And because like it really just makes the whole thing go better for you. And one day you'll just find yourself standing in the middle of a manifestation that you might, if you look back on your desires of the past, you might come to find that it's satisfying, checking the boxes of one or more of those desires that you had. And it might be 1,000 times better than you could have ever imagined. But you have to embody your own worthiness. And you have to just be in that resonant frequency of alignment with your truth. Because the truth of you is source energy, limitless, creator, manifested in a human form, right? So how could you not be worthy? How could you not be worthy if you were the source of all creation itself, right? I'm getting a very loud ringing in my left ear right now. The fact of the matter is that it's you. You're doing it. You're doing all of this. You're creating all of this. And when you embody your own worthiness, everything works out for you. I'm serious, guys. This isn't an exaggeration. sometimes it might seem like things aren't working out for you, but things are literally always working out for you. Because even if you're experiencing something unwanted, something that you perceive as negative, it's creating a more specific desire for you that is then gonna eventually manifest. So it's all good and it's all part of the equation, right? But anyways, here I am with these big new desires, and like as I was just reflecting on my life, I realized that like everything I've ever wanted literally has manifested, and it's been way grander than my human could have ever thought it would be. So just let this be a reminder, or a totally new concept, to just start appreciating more and start recognizing that you're blessed, and the universe is gonna mirror that like it always does. It always mirrors what you're embodying. So embody your truth. The truth of your worthiness makes life really fun, and I sending you so much love if you're going through something hard right now. And just know that Source has got you, and it's gonna get better. Trust. Just trust. Okay, that's all for today. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Please like the video if you enjoy this content. Drop a comment if it resonates, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. It's kind of been a mixed bag lately. I'm just still deciding what this channel is, but it'll figure itself out, just like everything always does. So yeah, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.